Welcome to the Transforming Stress with Dr. Ash podcast, Fionnuala.
Good to be here, Ash.
Lovely to have you in the beautiful Scotland, Glasgow. And today we are going to discuss the environmental management aspect of the boiling frog.
Yeah, which is crucial. And of course, we're building on resilience and self-management, which we've already discussed.
Yes. As you know that environmental management can be a really make or break. And we know that things change.
Yep.
And you and me know it very well, living with the Irish weather and the Scottish weather.
Yep.
Really most beautiful countries of the world.
Yeah.
But the weather changes,
Yes.
and we basically change according to the weather.
Yeah. Yeah. We're constantly adapting.
Constantly adapting. And you mentioned the word adapting.
Yeah.
If I were to summarize this entire environmental management
Yeah.
in one word,
Yeah.
that single word will be adapting.
Absolutely. And I see the quote here that we have from Darwin, Ash. And this is one that people sometimes get wrong because they talk about survival of the strongest or the smartest
Or the fittest.
or the fittest. But in fact, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change.
Yes. So in this particular section, what I'm teaching, what I'm sharing with the listeners and the readers is adaptive leadership.
Yeah.
Now there are 5 pillars to adaptive leadership. And I know you've got the book in front.
I have the book
But
right
we start
here.
with how do you manage time? How do you manage conflict in the environment? How do you manage micro stresses? And many times we are in the situations that the systems are really old and we are doing the same thing again and again. So creative innovation.
Yeah, the diversity, that diverse element.
Yes.
Yeah.
And last but not the least, did I mention conflict?
You did.
The conflict
Are we going to cognitive overload?
and the cognitive overload is equally crucial because I will tell you more about it, that how it is so important to be aware of the different kinds of cognitive overload.
Yeah.
But why don't we start one by one?
Yes.
What
that's
is your
great.
favorite? What is your most something which you think suddenly can increase the temperature of the surrounding environment?
So what would be the worst stressor that I
Yes.
could think of? Honestly, I do think that conflict with other people, that can be hard. And that sometimes you might have a sense, not that somebody's shouting at you, but maybe there's passive aggression. Maybe somebody just isn't speaking very much. And normally they're quite communicative. Those sorts of things can really get to you, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's touch on all these 5 pillars, and then one by one we'll take a deeper dive.
Yeah.
So I fully agree with you that conflict is something which can increase the temperature all of a sudden. If somebody comes in, enters a room,
Yeah.
you don't get along,
Yeah.
you can feel the heat. You can feel the heat increasing in the environment.
Yeah. Suddenly the emotional temperature just changes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. For
And
sure.
equally, if there is low level dysfunctions in a team, that slowly increases the temperature.
Yeah.
It creates a boiling frog environment.
That's true.
Been in several situations where, whether it is in hospitals or whether it is in primary care or any different kind of working environments, when the team dynamics are not good, it increases temperature in the environment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cognitive overload. When I say cognitive overload, what are the things which come in your mind?
I think about overwhelm, about the just so many demands, so many psychological demands, really, managing relationships with people day to day, just the constant overstimulation from media, social media. You know, we're looking at our phones for so many legitimate reasons, but also I think it can end up just being something we do habitually. We're just stuck to our phone. Yeah, I think that's a huge stressor. And cognitive overload, I mean, just dealing with our normal jobs, but dealing with all of these other inputs as well. And I think distractions, other sorts of distractions too.
Yes.
Yeah, all of that.
Distractions are big, and takes us back to what we discussed in the first section, in the self-discipline versus distractibility.
Yeah.
Then you mentioned about the smartphones,
Yeah.
that the smartphones are making us dumb. Literally, somebody was recently telling me that some people are spending more time on the screen more than the sleep.
Oh,
So they
gosh.
they might spend 8-9 hours
Yeah.
on their phone, and these are
Yeah.
very busy people.
Yeah.
These are very successful people,
Yeah.
and they might be getting 5 hours of sleep or
Yeah.
6 hours of
Yeah.
sleep.
That's a huge investment of time, isn't it?
It's a huge
It really
investment
is.
of time.
Yeah.
So this smartphone is a remarkable tool,
Yeah.
but the the distraction it has increased, and the scattered attention and scattered focus, it results in issues with time management.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another skill. How do you manage your time?
Yeah. Yeah. And all tied up with that is energy as well, isn't it, Ash?
Right.
And there. Yeah.
Yeah. When you say time management, I used to feel that there's so much of work, and in the hospitals, things are getting busy. There are patients to see in different departments, managing the teams, administrative work, educational work. But ultimately, I realized that the key is how you manage your energy, how you manage your strengths, how you manage your values. And we will go into the details of that when we discuss, when we take a deeper dive into the time management. You might be having a full day,
Yeah.
but let's say if your physical batteries are low, or mental or emotional, how productive are you going to be during that day?
Absolutely. And when you say strengths and values, it also makes me think about self-awareness and self-reflection.
Yes.
Because those really need to be present for us to know what our values are and what strengths we're trying to leverage
Yes.
in those situations. Yeah.
Einstein used to say one thing, that you cannot judge a fish's ability to climb a tree.
It's not the strength.
It's not the strength.
Yeah.
So if anyone is in a position or in an environment where they are not matched with their strengths, they are forever leaning against the wrong wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another key insight to understand.
Yeah.
Any other thing which comes to you when I say time management? Because I know you mentioned that people are getting busier and busier,
Yeah.
yet the productivity is going down.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes there are knock-on effects. People are stressed, they're distressed, they're not happy. And I think in those circumstances, our ability to be creative, to engage with things in a creative way, and to find the kind of innovation that we're going to talk about, that shuts down because it's just about survival. It's not about finding something new.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to open that up for ourselves a bit, and not have our poor brains sort of crouching in on themselves in terror from all this input. We need to find ways to just loosen that up. And I think also the fact that with your book, you're working with this theory around right brain, left brain, and how these connect with what we sometimes call the primitive brain.
Yes.
And that the logical brain, the left brain, tends to just shut down when we've got all these signals coming through. But the right brain, the creative side, that can still communicate. So we're really thinking about that. And obviously, part of the way you've done this in the book is to use these great visuals, which we've been discussing with each section. But we're going to look a little more at how we can use creativity and tap into our creative energy. But to do that, we need to be managing our time, which will help us to have some energy available to be creative.
So, Fionnuala, one thing you mentioned about the chronic stress,
Yeah.
and the chronic stress can lead the person to be more at the level of the limbic system. You might have heard about limbic hijack or amygdala hijack.
Yeah.
People who are chronically stressed, they find it more difficult to work from their prefrontal cortex, which is also the CEO of the brain. And that's why the decisions might not be rational.
Of course.
The right brain, which is more intuitive, self-awareness and imagery, is easier to provided you're connected provided you are having some kind of mindfulness practices and
Absolutely.
you're slowing down. But if you are able to inculcate some kind of practices, then it can change the game.
Well, these are our resources, aren't they?
Yes. And the other thing is about when you mention about the right brain, what strikes me is creativity.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I talk about creative innovation as one of the chapters, that if we are stuck doing the same things again and again, can we really think out of the box?
Yeah, we can't see new possibilities. We're just in the same groove all the
Yes,
time.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we think from the right side, we'll try to see, how we can break that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so important.
Finally, I would like to add one more thing which is really important to the context of managing the environment is management of micro stresses. Now, you mentioned about conflict. Sometimes conflict can be on your face and you recognize it.
Yeah.
So and so has come to the
It's
person
right there.
and I can see it's on your face.
Yeah.
But micro stress is more, as you can see, it's under the table.
Yeah.
It's sneaky.
It's a constant niggling little thing.
It's a niggling
Yeah.
little thing, but more than that, it can be outside our realm of awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's important to understand and pinpoint, first of all, what are the signs of chronic stress, chronic micro stress, identify the micro stress, and we'll discuss more in our deeper dive. And then what are the antidotes? How do you manage the
What can we
micro
do?
stresses? And that is actually the strategy and the solution and the strategy to manage the boiling frog environment.
Yeah.
And that's why if you see the cover of the book, the cover of the book shows a jacuzzi.
Yep.
And the frogs, instead of boiling to death, I've brought this philosophy of the jacuzzi effect.
Yep.
Now they have been able to understand the stresses in the environment, the micro stresses in the environment.
Yep.
They have been able to temper down the temperature. Now they are relaxed.
They're absolutely enjoying themselves.
Enjoying the jacuzzi environment.
Yeah.
And I felt that when I used to see a lot of colleagues, professionals around me burnt out, and equally when I used to see patients over the last 3 decades from different industries, backgrounds, coming with stress, high levels of stress, just to wonder, people work so hard in their lives, and towards what end point?
Yeah. Yeah. What's it for?
What's it for? What is the end emotions? What is the journey bringing them to?
Yeah.
And it's not just the living in 24/7 stress, but also the manifestations of stress, how it affects your physical health, how it affects your mental health.
Of course. Yeah.
And can we find better ways to temper down the temperature and make it a nice and a comfortable jacuzzi?
Because we're not saying there shouldn't be heat. We need challenge.
Heat is there. It's a part of the life.
Yeah.
Welcome to life.
Yeah.
There is going to be stress.
Yeah. But
there's going to be high levels of
level?
stress.
Yeah.
What we want to say that the stress should not be 24/7 all around the year, which is unregulated, unmanaged, and also toxic levels of stress.
Well, absolutely. I have clients who come to me and they might say, there has been no single big event in my life, but I feel completely stressed out. I feel tired. I just can't seem to think clearly. And I think that's the micro stress that you're talking about, because when we channel into what's going on in their lives, sometimes there's an absence of supportive practices of these kinds of strategies that you're talking about, and definitely a presence of those micro stresses. And they wear and wear away at people. So I think this is a really good approach to highlight that and to just look at what are the strategies. And I think the reflective awareness sections we've got in each chapter, and also the leaps to action part, which is helping people to move into, I suppose if the first part's the diagnosis, it's kind of moving into the cure. And so there's plenty in the book that's going to help you take immediate action to start to feel a little bit better.
Yes. Thank you, Fionnuala. Like I shared this with you before, if you go to a forest and
Yep.
if you see 100 trees, not two trees are going to be similar.
No.
That's why I've created this boiling frog framework. And every individual can go through this framework and get an answer for themselves.
Yes.
Not one answer is going to be the similar to the other person's
Yeah.
answer. Let us go and have a deeper dive into what we have
Great.
discussed. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Me too, Ash. Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review, a like, or subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Your support helps us reach more people looking to transform their stress into new comfort. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so don't forget to comment and share. For more tips and updates, please be sure to check out our social media links in the description box below. We can't wait to have you with us next time as we continue this journey towards turning stress into resilience. Remember, it's not the stress itself, but how we rise above it that defines our strength. So stay resilient and keep thriving, and we will see you next time.